So, 2024 is coming to a close and the hits just keep on coming, bro. From 政治的嘻哈的好莱坞 and then back to 政治，世界上真的太夸张了耶。Another huge scandal just went down. And this is something that has never happened at this level ever in US history. The current mayor of New York City, the city with the highest GDP in the entire world, was just indicted on corruption charges.
Another one.
Now, the United States has had its fair share of corrupt politicians, but in this case, it's not so much as what he took, but who he took it from and who he's working with. And on that long list of names, countries, and governments, one of them just might be the CCP. And there's a very big chance that the CCP and New York 有联合打台湾呢。
No.
So, in today's episode, I'll be painting you a very vivid picture connecting multiple events from the past and the present. By the end, you will see very clearly that the CCP has not only infiltrated New York City, but is also influencing and impacting US political elections. And make sure you stick to the end, because you're gonna find out that there is someone involved that you would never ever expect. So today, why don't you switch out that 爆米花 for some 小熊软糖, because you're gonna be doing a lot of chewing tonight, son. And do I even need to say it? Say it! 代誌大條。So, in case you haven't heard by now, Taiwan recently had its own little scandal. A former Taipei mayor who was arrested on suspicion of corruption. And although there are a few key differences, New York's mayoral scandal is very similar. So, cue in Eric Adams, this episode's public enemy number 1. Currently, he is still the mayor of New York, and despite the many charges against him, this fool will not step down. Now, whereas Taiwan has yet to hand down an indictment or even hold a press conference, in the Southern District of New York, they have not only held a 20-minute press conference, but they have handed down a 57-page indictment full of blood. And what could it go on? These fools have got charts, graphs, and timelines full of Eric's dirty deeds. It's like watching a full season of The Wire play out in real time.
Shit. Mayor Adams engaged in a long-running conspiracy in which he solicited and knowingly accepted illegal campaign contributions from foreign donors and corporations. As we allege, Mayor Adams took these contributions even though he knew they were illegal, and even though he knew these contributions were attempts by a Turkish government official and Turkish businessmen to buy influence with him. We also allege that the mayor sought and accepted well over $100,000 in luxury travel benefits from some of the same foreign actors who arranged many of the illegal campaign contributions. These benefits included free international business class flights and opulent hotel rooms in foreign cities. The mayor had a duty to disclose these gifts on his annual public disclosure forms so that the public could see who was giving him what. But as we allege, year after year after year, he kept the public in the dark. He told the public he received no gifts, even though he was secretly being showered with them.
台湾人应该跟这个部分很熟悉吧? If you're a politician and you get any gifts from anybody, you must disclose that shit. That way, we the voters know exactly who you were palling around with. Transparency 101. And in this case, Eric Adams not only accepted gifts, but he engaged in some very serious quid pro quo. Because according to the indictment, the 36-story brand new Turkish embassy that was about to go up had some serious safety violations according to the New York Fire Department. We're talking violations so bad they deemed this building not even fit to enter. But when a Turkish official made one phone call to Mayor Eric Adams, he walked over there and told those investigators that if they don't let that shit slide, he will fire every single one of them.
So took contributions that broke other laws. As we allege, he sought contributions from businessmen far in excess of what the law allowed. He also allegedly sought contributions from corporations, which are not allowed to contribute at all in New York City elections. Many of those illegal corporate contributions were organized by the same people who organized the illegal foreign contributions. And Adams allegedly disguised them all in the same way by accepting the money through so-called straw donors. A straw donor contributes someone else's money, hiding the money's illegal source, such as a foreign businessman, a corporation, or a wealthy New Yorker who has already contributed the maximum amount allowed. And as we allege, Adams circumvented all of these laws, taking contributions from exactly the sources the law prohibits, all to benefit his mayoral campaigns.
Now, this is important. these people didn't approach him. This fool went out looking for people to corrupt himself.
Use me.
So the straw donors that they're talking about in Taiwan, we call 人头户. And out here, we are allowed to make anonymous donations to any political candidate as long as it does not exceed $330. But in America, you can't even go over $50. Double it if you pay in cash. But dude, when it comes to cash donations in Taiwan, you can give as much as $3,300. 差66倍耶！我们台湾人超级自由，零杯送的哟。
We good, baby. We good.
And there's one tiny little detail you also need to know. In New York, they have something called the Match Funds Program. That means if you're a mayoral candidate and you receive any donation from a private citizen up to $250, they will match that by Bay. And according to this indictment, my man used, abused, and defrauded this program out of $13 million.
Shit, partner.
As we allege in the indictment, in addition to not disclosing these benefits, Adams sometimes created fake paper trails to try to cover up the travel benefits he solicited and received. Let me give you one example. Adams wrote emails to his staff suggesting he paid for his 2017 business class flights on the Turkish airline when, as we allege, he did not. Those flights were worth a lot of money. Just one ticket alone cost more than $10,000. But months after taking the flights, Adams wrote an email to a staff member and told the staff member that he had left cash in her desk drawer and that she should send the money to the Turkish airline to pay for a trip he had already taken. As the indictment makes clear, that's just a clumsy cover-up.
Here, America and Taiwan are very similar. When it comes to political donations, you cannot put that shit in your own bank account, yo. But if you're a corrupt politician, then how do you cash in? I mean, you could create some fake invoices and create a fake paper trail. Or you could do what Eric Adams did and cooperate with the corrupting country's government's own airline, taking very expensive trips at their expense. This is a level of political fuckery that not even Taiwan has seen yet. So for all you corrupt fucks who are watching our 机车, 你要不要记下来哈?
Here are some of the benefits that we uncovered during our investigation. In 2016, Adams flew to India through Turkey and received 2 free round-trip upgrades for business class seats. That's the highest class on Turkey's national airline. Those upgrades were worth more than $12,000, and none of it was publicly disclosed. In 2017, Adams accepted free business class tickets for himself and his travel companions to France, Turkey, and China. And he was put up in the Bentley Suite in the St. Regis Hotel in Istanbul. All of that was worth more than $41,000, and none of it was publicly disclosed. Also in 2017, he flew to China, again, through Turkey, and accepted 2 free business class tickets for himself and a companion. Those were worth more than $16,000, and none of it was publicly disclosed.
This is very interesting. Why did the prosecutor only talk about airline tickets? Well, that's because prosecutors can easily check and track flight records. But the one thing they can't check is when they touch down in that country of their choice, what gifts they receive. According to this indictment, my man Eric Adams flew to China at least twice back in 2017, and I'm sure he received a lot of Chinese gifts. The strange thing is, at this time, he wasn't even the mayor. He was well into his second term as the Brooklyn borough president. That's 5 years before he even took the mayoral office. My man has been corrupt cucking for a long minute, yo. Now, you might think that this is all standard SOP for a politician. After all, the Southern District of New York ranks 3rd in the entire country for corruption. But what you're about to find out is what Eric was doing in the shadows had a serious 超级大 connection to Taiwan. And in the next chapter, I'm gonna connect all the dots just for you. So, a bit of background on Eric Adams. He comes from a low-income family and it actually was part of the NYPD. He is a perfect example of starting from the bottom. So when he started running for politics, it was very easy for this guy to get a lot of blue-collar votes. And in a short period of time, he became the rising star for the Democratic Party. Word on the street is the Democratic Party was slowly grooming Eric to become the next presidential candidate over the next 8 to 10 years. And in the city with the highest GDP where global wealth is highly concentrated, competition is fierce as fuck. So in New York, Eric not only served in the Senate, but he also served 2 terms as the Brooklyn borough president. And in addition to currently being the New York City mayor, he is also a member of the Electoral College. Yes, that Electoral College. 美国总统选举的 Electoral College. So, as a rising and promising political figure in the Democratic Party, by 2017, Eric Adams was already making secret trips to Beijing and on the receiving end of their very gracious hospitality. Now, your first thought might be that, oh, he's just going there to understand Chinese culture, maybe do a little business with some companies and broaden his horizons. Surely there's nothing wrong with that. Even I thought so. I mean, other than a couple of trips, the US attorney didn't mention anything about him being involved with the CCP. But then I went back and read that 57-page indictment again, and I found some very interesting things.
Hold on to your butt.
Firstly, in this indictment, there's a person referred to as Eric's staffer or liaison over 40 times. And apparently, this person has a long history with Eric, as this person worked with Eric back in 2014 as his liaison. Now, after being put on Eric's payroll, the indictment says that this person also interacted with Turkish businessmen and other government officials to organize and arrange the straw donor scheme on Eric's behalf. And this is all before Eric would even announce his campaign to run for mayor. Oh, and there's also one other thing. This mysterious staffer also accompanied Eric on all of his business trips to foreign countries, including China, twice.
Sounds as if they're suspicious.
Oh, no. Not suspicious, just discreet.
So I did some digging, and it turns out this person is a woman who goes by the name Winnie Greco. That's an odd name. She must be Greek, right?
Wrong.
This fool is Chinese, dude. And she's straight out of Beijing by the name of Zhen Qirong. And Greco, well, that's her husband's name. And here's where the ultimate Daiji Dua Diao moment is about to kick in. Way back in the day, Winnie and her husband opened a company called Greco Development LLC. And this tiny little construction company with a very short history has links to being funded by the CCP propaganda department in Beijing.
Some fuckery's going on.
So I did some more digging. It turns out when Eric Adams was a borough president for Brooklyn, Winnie, who worked as his volunteer liaison, arranged a very specific meeting between Eric and a company called Greenland USA. Well, a name like that, they must be some sort of environmental company. I mean, where else could they come up with $6 billion to fund this very interesting project? And if it's called Greenland USA, then it must be an American company. Right?
Wrong.
You guessed it. This company is a subsidiary of a larger company called the Greenland Group, a state-owned company established and operated in Shanghai. And this $6 billion funded project is not for the environment, it's for real estate. And it was all set up and orchestrated by Winnie Xiong Greco. Check out this very interesting photo. On the left, you have Eric Adams. In the middle, you have the president of Greenland Group, Xu Jing. And on the right, you have Winnie Greco. So, in case you're not following, let's do a quick recap. Eric Adams, who was then the Brooklyn borough president, took 2 trips to Beijing, and around the same time, using her 2 companies, Winnie Greco organized this entire thing and also received funds from the CCP propaganda department. Now, via Greenland USA, the CCP invested in this whole development project in Brooklyn, and oddly enough, both of Winnie Greco's companies and her houses were raided by the FBI earlier this year.
No, it must just be a weird coincidence. But what if it's not?
Now, if this doesn't convince you that the CCP got this fucking Ukueto elected as mayor and they have him in his pocket, then allow me to show you another photo which will serve as a proverbial smoking gun. This photo was taken in 2021. On the left, you see Winnie in the blue dress. Towards the right, you see Mayor Eric Adams, who was then the borough president, and there's a very mysterious woman standing right next to him. 她很高欸. Who is that? Let's check the caption down below. Linda Sun. 这个人到底是谁呢?
Linda's son and her husband were both arrested by the FBI and taken into custody this morning. Sun is being accused of acting on behalf of the People's Republic of China and the Chinese Communist Party, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office for New York's Eastern District. Sun worked in New York state government for around 10 years. She was hired by former Governor Andrew Cuomo and continued to serve as Governor Kathy Hochul's deputy chief of staff once she took over. According to the release from the federal prosecutors, Sun is being charged with visa fraud, alien smuggling, and money laundering conspiracy. Federal prosecutors allege that Sun blocked Taiwanese government officials from accessing New York state officials and obtained gubernatorial proclamations for the Chinese government without authorization.
That's right, she is the alleged Chinese spy arrested by the FBI just a few months ago. And she's the one who tried to keep the governor of New York from attending Tsai Ing-wen's banquet and meeting with her in person. Now, although she did eventually make it, there's one person who did not attend that banquet and meet Tsai Ing-wen, Mayor Eric Adams. I wonder what happened. 为什么他不去呢?
New York City Mayor Eric Adams skipped a banquet with Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen last year. That's after Chinese Consul General Huang Ping sent a letter urging him to, quote, avoid any kind of official contact with Tsai when she is in New York City.
At this point, I am entirely convinced that the CCP has completely hijacked the world's largest GDP, known as NYC. But if you think it's as simple as corrupting and controlling politicians, think again.
This nondescript office building in the heart of bustling Chinatown in Lower Manhattan has a dark secret.
An entire floor hosted an undeclared outpost station of the Chinese National Police.
Now just imagine the NYPD opening an undeclared secret police station in Beijing. It would be unthinkable.
Liu Jianwang and Chen Jinping are accused of helping set up the station. But U.S. officials say it was not the type of police force the average American might think of. Instead of combating crimes, they say, they were committing them. Specifically, acts of transnational repression, where a foreign government, in this case China, stalks or intimidates individuals in the United States.
The Chinese National Police appear to have been using the station to track a U.S. resident on U.S. soil.
This incident happened back in 2023, just 1 month after Eric Adams didn't attend that banquet with Tsai Ing-wen, and this all happened while he was mayor under his watch. So now, the CCP has the ability to intimidate and threaten foreign citizens on U.S. soil. When this all went down, what did Mayor Eric Adams have to say?
I plead the fifth.
So let's have another recap. A rising political star in the Democratic Party, who's taken several trips to China and has received Chinese hospitality, somehow has a very close connection to Chinese developers, some weird flights, and amidst all this, he's completely surrounded by Chinese businessmen and liaisons. One of which was raided by the FBI, and another of which was arrested by the FBI for spying.
That nigga is guilty!
所以台湾人，我问你们, does any of this sound familiar? But what really flips my wig is why in the hell would prosecutors bring this indictment just 40 days before the critical US presidential election? Well, to find the answer to that, you need to take off your political hat and put on your Hollywood entertainment hat. Because when you find out the answer, it will completely blow your mind. Fun fact. New York State has voted Democrat for every presidential election since 1989, and it has the 4th highest electoral votes in the United States. But strangely, in 2023, Eric Adams decided that he was going to criticize the Biden administration.
Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem.
Now, the immigrants he's talking about here are all illegal immigrants, but oddly enough, he didn't mention any Chinese illegal immigrants.
Weird.
So as you asked me a question about migrants, tell me what role you played. How many of you organized to stop what they're doing to us? How many of you were part of the movement to say, we're seeing what this mayor is trying to do, and they're destroying New York City? It's going to come to your neighborhoods. All of us are going to be impacted by this. I said it last year when we had 15,000. I'm telling you now, with 110,000, the city we knew, we're about to lose.
And in addition to this, when the indictment was about to go down, in his own defense video, he tried to blame all of it on the fact that he criticized the Biden's border policy.
I know I am innocent. New Yorkers know my story. They know where I come from. I have been fighting injustice my entire life. That fight has continued as your mayor. Despite our pleas, when the federal government did nothing as its broken immigration policies overloaded our shelter system with no relief, I put the people of New York before party and politics. Now, if I am charged, many may say I should resign because I cannot manage the city while fighting the case.
So here you can see that he is being very clever. He opines that the federal government's immigration policy is terrible. And then, by the way, I'm being indicted. He is very slyly implying that because he criticized Biden's border policy, that they are coming down on him with the full weight of the law. And there's a lot of people who are buying into it. But there is something very important you need to understand. Right now, New York is in the process of turning red. This last election's vote for a Democratic voter was the lowest vote for Democrats in New York's entire voting history. And right now, Republicans are working overtime from Long Island to Manhattan to turn that state red. Needless to say, this, along with this entire scandal, could seriously wound the Democratic Party and by proxy, Kamala Harris. But the thing is, if none of this had been exposed, then very few people would actually know that Eric Adams opposes the Biden administration's border policy. But I don't really think the DNC is behind all this indictment stuff, because to them, Black Lives Matter, but Orange Lives, that's a different story.
It's true.
So to me, me, Eric is just trying to smokescreen. And if you guys have been watching our channel long enough, then you know that one of this year's largest scandals is the Diddler. And just by pure coincidence or a sheer stroke of damn luck, the Diddler is being prosecuted in the exact same Southern District as Eric Adams.
They praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. Because if he had 250 cameras all over the house, somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. It could be your favorite pastor. It could be your favorite politician.
Now, here's where things get really interesting. You see, around the time that Eric Adams became New York City's new mayor, Diddy stopped putting out albums, stopped making music, and he barely even did any charity events. But then, for some weird reason, this happened.
The bad boy of entertainment is getting the key to the city from the bad boy of politics.
I want to thank y'all for this honor and just recognizing me being from New York, giving me the key to the city. Diddy finally has the key to the city.
That's right, Eric Adams actually gave this goofy nigga a key to the city in his own goddamn holiday. I wonder how many back doors he had to open to get a key to that.
You are gay. Why are you gay?
What's even more interesting is the timing of Eric Adams' indictment by the FBI. 他跟 Diddy 差2个礼拜而已耶，有这么巧合吗？ Because if Eric truly is being persecuted by the Democratic Party, then he would eventually become a martyr and he could flip Republican, yo, turning it all in his favor. But if it is revealed that this Ukwe Tol was putting his Ukwe Tol somewhere at Diddy's parties, then he is completely done.
Dun dun dun.
Now, of course, this is all my speculation, but what do you guys think? Remember to leave a comment down below, keep it civil in the comments, and also watch your language, and I will see you on the flip side. Peace!